Hello YouTube, I am back for my Friday video finally. So today you're going to be learning about my chronic illnesses and my mental health. I'm going to tell you what I have and then describe it a little bit and then tell you a little bit about my journey with them. So let's start from the beginning. I was born with a rare neuromuscular disease, and I've been to doctors, I've been studied, I've been sent to all the genetics places, the top genetics places, top neuromuscular doctors, top of everything, and they don't know what it is. So to this day, I still have no idea what that is, but it's really intense. It causes a lot of weakness, muscle death, fatigue, pain, and it's mostly centered in my from my waist down to my knees. And it has been in remission a few times. It was in remission for a while. It actually just started back up. So I'm having more muscle death in my waist and my knees. So it's starting to spread. So that's great. I also have it in my shoulders and my arms. So I can't do a lot of things that a lot of people do. I am permanently disabled. So I have a motorized wheelchair, which helps me get everywhere that I need to go, do what I have to do, go to doctor's appointments. If I want to go to the park, I have my own independent way of getting around. Thank God. Yeah, so that's one of the first things that I had. Sorry, my allergies are kicking my butt. And I have postnasal drip, so I'm going to be clearing my throat a lot and coughing a lot. So as the years went on, it was hard because I couldn't really participate in gym class. I couldn't do a lot of the things that other kids could do. It was wicked hard. Yes, I'm from Boston. You're going to hear my accent pop in every now and then. I try to, keep it moderated, but it just comes out. I'm from Boston. What do you expect? I'm also going to try to keep all that I'm saying clean, because, again, I'm from Boston. I'm from Dorchester, and I swear like a sailor. So, anywho, so all through, elementary school and middle school, I dealt with a lot of pain, a lot of doctor's visits, a lot of testing. So I did EMGs all the time, which tests, your muscle activity. It's not fun. It actually kind of hurts really bad. Biopsies, because there was also a skin involvement with my neuromuscular disease. So there was that. I had biopsies. I had surgery when I was 7 years old to lengthen my tendons, because I used to walk on my tippy toes. All full on tippy toes, and with the fatigue I would fall a lot. So they gave me surgery so that my feet would be flat on the ground instead of Barbie style. So that's how they kind of helped me get more acclimated, I guess. So through high school I did pretty well. Through high school into maybe 2010. I did really, really well. When I turned 21, though, however, I was diagnosed with lupus SLE, which is systemic lupus erythematosus, which means it affects all of your systems in your body, like connective tissue, joints, muscles, organs, all that stuff. But with that, I got lupus nephritis, which affects your kidneys mostly. And then I also have discoid lupus, which is a skin form of lupus. So the lupus was rough to be diagnosed with, but I had been sick my whole life, so I knew how to accept my diagnoses and adapt to it so I can continue on with my life. So I did that. And then as time went on, those started to get really bad and flare up. Dealing with that on top of the neuromuscular disease was a wreck. It was a mess. I'm surprised I even graduated college. But ever since I did graduate college, I've been dealing with the repercussions of my diseases and disorders. And it's been rough because I used to go out all the time. I used to dance all the time. I used to do all this stuff. I used to walk miles and miles and miles just to, get out and be out in nature and things like that, which I love to do. Can't do that anymore. So as I got older, I started to figure my body out, but the pain and the weakness kept getting worse and worse and worse, to the point where now I'm even surprised that I got up and did my makeup and did something with my hair. I mean, it's still a little messy, but it's It's better than what it was before, trust me. Yeah, so once I turned 30, I went to see my doctor because the pain was just getting to be way too much. And it was, the weakness was really bad. Like the fact that I couldn't walk upstairs anymore. I couldn't, if I fell on the floor, I couldn't get up on my own. That was, starting to kind of make me nervous. So I went to see my rheumatologist, who said I have fibromyalgia. Great. So fibromyalgia is a nerve disorder, basically, where your nerves become so overactive with your pain signals and just fatigue signals that it just tells your brain, okay, now these synapses, they're going to be open all the time. So you'll always be in pain. You'll always have fatigue because it doesn't know when to stop, because it's gotten so used to it. It's kind of like muscle memory, but for your nervous system. Yeah, so it just ends up doing that. So then you're just always in pain, always fatigued. And then there's other things that come with it. Like brain fog, just there's so much to fibromyalgia. I can't list it all here. But yeah. And then with the lupus, so the systemic lupus, it affects all of my organs. My kidney's the worst. And it did affect my heart for a little bit. Also, I think the neuromuscular disease affected my heart too, and I think it's still doing that. Because I did have episodes of pericarditis, which is when the lining of your heart, because all of your organs are kind of lined with something so that they don't when they rub against each other, they just kind of rub off and things like that, so they don't get all messed up while inside you. So the lining of the heart gets inflamed. So that's when I had pericarditis. Not a fun thing. You literally feel like you're having a heart attack. It hurts so bad. Also, before I continue, I'm not doing this for pity. I hate pity with a passion. I hate it. You can empathize, but please don't say sorry. I live by the motto, accept, adapt, and achieve. And that gets me through my days. Mindfulness is a powerful thing. And I used to be one of those people who's that doesn't make any sense. Mindfulness is stupid. You can't just change your perception on life because that doesn't change your situation. But I went through something really intense that made me appreciate my life a little bit more. I'll get into that in a little bit. Yeah, so mindfulness really does change your life. I know I sound like a broken record because I know you've probably heard it from a bunch of other people if you have chronic illnesses or mental health disorders. But it really does give me a sense of, I guess, completeness, just because any situation that comes along, I know that if I can't change it, I can accept it and adapt to it. So it keeps things light, it keeps things easy to deal with. So that came a long way to help me out with all of that. So the thing that changed my perception on life and everything and how it goes is in 2021, I had moved to a new part of the state here in Massachusetts. And I had gotten new physicians and primary care physician, and they were horrible. The medical and the psychiatric care here in Western Massachusetts is horrible. Boston is number one for medical and psychiatric needs and help. So I eventually transferred back, but before I could transfer back, my primary care physician here, where I live now, it makes me so mad just think about them. They weren't monitoring my levels properly. And so I ended up in the hospital with severe toxicity from one of my medications that I was taking that they should have been monitoring because my body does fluctuate and it had started to absorb it 10 times more than it usually should or does. So I ended up in the hospital for about 2 weeks. I went into severe psychosis, literally out of my mind. It was it was the most horrible thing that's ever happened to me in my life. It was terrifying. I was constantly anxious, and not just generally anxious, deathly afraid, anxious, 24/7. So after that, when I finally came out of it, I was so thankful that, I'm alive and I have all these little blessings around me that I can count as big blessings, because they are. You know, to have food, to have home, to have a shelter, to have people around you that care about you and that you care about, and to have a cat like Binks. As you can see, my bed's not made, just, well, you can't see him. My bed's not made, but that's because there's a cat on it, so I'm not going to disturb him. I'm not. He's my boy. He's going to be 17 in October. He's my boy. Let me see if I can show you him. There he is. There's Binks. Binks Vincent. Alright, never mind. So yeah, so that happened. So I have the fan over there because your girl was hot. It is hot today, and my body doesn't regulate body temperature like everybody else's. So when it's hot, I get super, super hot. When it's cold, I get super, super cold. So I had it on, but you know what? For the video, I decided to turn it off. I still have my ceiling fan going though, because I'm not trying to die on video and shit, stuff like that. Anywho, so yeah, all those things came into my life in terms of, you know, medical ailments and things like that. And, you know, I've had, well, ADHD getting in the way, because I literally just lost my train of thought. What the heck? It's gone. It's gone. Well, I guess it's a good way to transition into my mental health. I have ADHD and autism. So I have both. So my ADHD, so one thing about ADHD that people are always like, oh, what do you mean? Like what? And I think only people with ADHD will understand. When I drink coffee or caffeine in general, it's like a sedative for me. It does not keep me awake. It does not give me the jitters. It knocks me out. Like down for the count, knocked out. Like if I can't sleep at night, I drink a coffee, because that's just how it does. So if you have ADHD or think you have ADHD, does coffee make you sleepy? Now, this isn't for everybody. For a lot of people who are ADHD, it either makes you sleepy, or it gives you like an intense jittery, like kind of like heart palpitations kind of thing. So it's one end of the spectrum or the other. Yeah, so like a lot of things, like the brain, like forgetting things, especially when I'm mid-sentence, because my brain's just going back and forth 24/7. I'll lose what I'm saying. And I mean, a lot of people know about ADHD now. Ow, that hurt. A lot of people know about ADHD nowadays. Unfortunately, this is when everybody who's dealt with ADHD and autism are finally finding out that they're diagnosed with autism and ADHD. So, I mean, not unfortunately, because that means that more information's out there for everybody. My autism has been apparent since I was a kid. I stim a lot. I rock back and forth. I get into my own little like world and zone and kind of things. I'm super artistic, super creative, and also really good with knowledge. Like I love doing research. I love, you know, jotting down things, kind of like a paper that you do in college or high school. I love it. It's one of my like top favorite things to do. I mean, the autism and the ADHD is not much to say about it. Like I said, a lot of information's out there right now. However, there was one cool thing that I found in my research about ADHD and autism. A lot of people who have ADHD and autism, when they were kids, used to walk on their tippy toes. Like it was a thing that always used to happen. So, as you guys remember, I told you that I used to walk on my tippy toes all the time, and I had to have surgery for it. So I think that was one of the telltale signs from when I was a kid. Also, when I'd like just zone out and be stimming at the same time, that's a big telltale sign. But in my family, where they come from, in West Africa, mental health wasn't a big thing during the time. It was the 80s and 90s. And so they never got tested or diagnosed. They never really understood it enough to get me evaluated. But also, women or girls who have ADHD and autism are usually pushed aside when trying to get a diagnosis, just because a lot of girls will mask really well, because we're taught to be ladies, to be quiet, to, you know, keep to ourselves, to not be all like rambunctious and stuff and things like that. Don't interrupt, don't talk too loud, don't talk too low, like all the stuff that's put on women and girls. It's insane, but it flows into psychiatry and medicine, so we get brushed aside pretty easily when it comes to getting a diagnosis. So as a woman, you have to really advocate for yourself and fight for yourself to get your diagnoses, so that you can start on a good and proper treatment plan and care plan for yourself. yeah, so that's like mostly my mental health things. And with the ADHD and autism comes like severe anxiety, social anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder, things like that. Yeah, and I just got my diagnoses this year. Yeah, the beginning of this year, actually. The beginning of this year. So that shows you how hard it is for women and girls to get diagnoses for autism or ADHD or any neurodivergent disorder, you know, and it sucks. It's not right, because you have to go through life with all these obstacles already as a woman. So to have that on top of it, it's just, that's a lot. And like I wish that like we could replay our memories, because if you guys could see me as a kid, you'd be like, no, definitely autism, ADHD, right there. Like, just thinking back on it, it's crazy. Like, it was so obvious. But again, like I said, you know, people back then didn't really take it for what it is. They didn't believe in it, you know. A lot of people back in my country, well, in Cape Verde, they still, like, back in the 80s and 90s, would still think and say, like, mental illness, oh, you're possessed. Yep, you're possessed if you have a mental illness, because to them, they didn't really recognize it as anything other than that, and they were very stuck in the old ways. They have progressed so much, though. I'm so proud of my country. They are leading in so many progressive movements. So I'm very proud of them. Very, very proud, and very proud to be Cape Verdean American. Yeah, so I don't want to make this a long video. I just wanted to give you guys a breakdown, brief, you know, zoom into my life and what I do and what I deal with every day. And I did give you guys that motto. Please look into it, you know, learn what you can about mindfulness and the accept, adapt, achieve motto. It really does help change your perception and makes you look at life a little differently. You know, you'll appreciate the things that you have, and, you know, not put so much emphasis on the things that you don't have, and the things that are really, that you say, like, in your life are like, why me, like, it helps you change your perception on those, and it helps you live a happier, less worrisome life. Yeah, so that's basically, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble with the eye contact with the camera. Autism. Rose Renee Rapp says ADHD. I love that girl. Oh my god. Anyways, so that's the breakdown. I am going to leave it here because my brain is going to explode. And yeah, I'm gonna leave it here. Give you guys the, you know, open space down below to comment and ask me questions if you have any. And I will see you guys on Monday for a movie review. Again, if you didn't see in my first video, the movie I'll be reviewing is Chained. It is available on Prime for watching, and it is so disturbing, but it is so good. Like, the ending, the twist at the end is insane. Give it a watch, because I will be reviewing it and I will be talking about the plot, and there will be spoilers. So give it a check out if you can stomach it. And yeah, most of the movies I'm going to be doing are horrors, thrillers, suspense, kind of things like that. Like action, sci-fi, fantasy kind of stuff. So if you want me to review another movie, I can do that. Just let me know. Comment in the comments below, or go to my IG and tell me there. I don't mind. But yeah, so that's it. And I will see you guys on Monday for a review on Chained. Bye.